Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with a Spain news update. And the government has struck a deal with the main transport workers union here in Spain, but it's still not clear if the deal will end the strike or not. But more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that bought merchandise, and a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon for your ongoing support. Now, let's get into the news. And as I said, the government and the main transport workers union reached an agreement last night, a €1 billion agreement that they hope will put an end to the transport strike that has been crippling the country for the last 12 days. But unfortunately, it seems the government has negotiated with the wrong people and the strike looks set to continue. As we can see here, government saves transport deal with €1.05 billion and doubts arise over whether it will deflate strikes. After more than 12 hours of negotiation in a marathon meeting between the government and the National Transport Committee, which represents the majority of hauliers associations, after midnight the agreement was still up in the air, and it was not until 2:15 a.m. when the Ministry of Transport announced that there was white smoke. The parties had reached a pact that included a 20 cents per litre reduction in fuel that will last until the 30th of June. The talks, however, were not attended by the platform that has called the strikes in recent days, and it remains to be seen whether the final text seduces some employers' associations that had also opted to cease their activity in the face of the government's inaction. So €1.05 billion in subsidies and a 20 cent per litre reduction on professional diesel. Those were the conditions that were agreed on early this morning. But as we saw in the article, the platform that is behind the transport strikes currently in this country was not at the negotiating table. So what does this platform have to say on the matter? Well, as we can see here, transport workers call strike agreement crumbs and maintain the strike. The platform calling the transport strike does not accept the agreement signed with the government. It translates into crumbs and tips, says Manuel Hernandez, president of the Platform for the Defense of Road Freight Transport, in an interview on RNE. Hernandez warns that the strike will continue until his platform, which is calling for the mobilizations, is received by the Minister of Transport, Raquel Sanchez. So it looks as though the strike will continue until this platform sits down and negotiates directly with Minister Sanchez. But that's not going to be easy because last week she was calling them right-wing extremists and thugs. So she'll also most likely have to apologize for her words before they sit down with her. Now, Prime Minister Sanchez yesterday attended a NATO summit in Brussels, and he announced that Spain will send more weapons to Ukraine. And apparently, according to Mr. Sanchez, this will happen in the next few days. The Spanish Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, has announced that Spain will again send offensive and defensive material to Ukraine in the coming days. He did so on his arrival at the European Council in Brussels, which will address the consequences of the war initiated by Russia and the possible measures to be taken jointly. In statements to the press, Sanchez explained that he could not specify when and how this handover would take place for security reasons, but that it was in response to the request of Volodymyr Zelensky's government. On Thursday morning, the Spanish president also attended the NATO summit, once again with the war in Ukraine on the agenda. So Spain to send more weapons to Ukraine, as announced by the Prime Minister yesterday, but remember here in Spain they don't call them weapons, it's offensive and defensive material. Now, as we know, Spain has recently ruffled the feathers of its main gas supplier in North Africa, Algeria, and it now seems that Spain's neighbour to the west, Portugal, has decided to distance itself from Spain and is improving its relations with Algeria. And as we can see here, Portugal distances itself from Spain and pampers Algeria to improve energy cooperation. While Spain's Foreign Minister, José Manuel Álvarez, is unable to set foot in Algiers following his U-turn on the Western Sahara issue, his counterparts in the south of the EU take the opportunity to pamper Algeria and try to strengthen energy ties. In the current world scenario, he who does not run flies in search of securing gas supplies and maintaining good relations with a major producer like Algeria. Portugal's Foreign Minister, Augusto Campos, travelled to Algiers on Wednesday to discuss, among other issues, energy cooperation, according to a brief communiqué, and he distanced himself from the Spanish position in favour of the absorption of the Sahara by Morocco. So Portugal showing that it's not stupid, distancing itself from Spain and improving ties with gas supplier Algeria. Now, keeping on the subject of Spain, Portugal and energy, Pedro Sanchez, as we know, in Brussels yesterday, asked the European Union to treat Spain and Portugal as an energy island, whatever that means. As we can see here, Pedro Sanchez calls on Europe to consider Spain and Portugal as an energy island. The president of the Spanish government, Pedro Sanchez, wants the European Union to agree on joint measures to immediately reduce the price of electricity, but aware of the difficulty of reaching a consensus, he is calling for specific instruments for Spain and Portugal, at least for the time being. It is with this intention that he is going to the European Council meeting, which on Friday will discuss the possibility of reforming the energy market, as Sanchez has been demanding for months, and which he believes is even more necessary now because of the war in Ukraine. So Sanchez going to ask the EU today if Spain and Portugal can be considered as an energy island that is separate from EU energy policy. Now, there's been a bit of relief for drivers here in Spain at the fuel pump this week, as fuel prices have fallen in Spain for the first time in 2022, but less than other European countries. Fuel prices fell this week after 8 consecutive weeks of record highs. This is the first time so far in 2022 that fuel prices have fallen, something that has not happened since the last week of 2021. According to data from the European Union Oil Bulletin, which reflects the price situation in the 27 countries of the club on Monday the 21st of March, in Spain, petrol has depreciated by 1.7% compared to the previous week, and diesel has depreciated by 1.1%. The price reductions are so slight that they have hardly been noticed at the pump, with petrol costing €1.81 per litre in Spain. Filling up a car with an average capacity of 55 litres cost €99.70 on Monday, just €1.70 less than the previous Monday. So a slight drop in petrol prices, but not really enough to be noticed by the average driver. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Craig: I picked up a dozen Guinness and a 6-pack of milk today here in Extremadura. Sorted for a few days. Shelves starting to get bare. Keep up the light entertainment, Stuart. Yeah, Craig, thanks for the comment, and good to see that you've got your priorities right when it comes to your weekly shop. 12 cans of Guinness and 6 litres of milk. And hopefully, as you said, that'll last you a few days until this strike comes to an end. But as we saw earlier, we still don't know when that's going to be, unfortunately. One here from Chris: ahoy there, Stuart. Top marks for being jolly forthright with your dismissal of someone trying to second guess your politics. I hate it when people do that. You report the news and people like us listen. It's as simple as that. Yeah, Chris, thanks for the comment, and you're right. My only objective is to keep people informed of what's going on here in Spain by reading some of the main news articles that I find in the press each day. I have no intention of pushing my political views down people's throats, and I try to keep as neutral as possible. As I have said on many occasions, the most important thing for me is that we get good government, and I don't care if it comes from the right or the left side of politics. So I'll continue to do what I'm doing, try to stay neutral, and keep people guessing what my political persuasions are. One here from James: Stu, when do you think they will let the unvaxxed into Spain? Yeah, James, thanks for the comment, and as far as I know, people from the UK that are not vaccinated but have had COVID in the last 6 months and have a COVID recovery certificate are allowed into Spain at the moment. But people that have not been vaccinated and have not had COVID in the last 6 months, as far as I know, are still not allowed to travel here. And when's that going to change? I've got absolutely no idea. One here from Werner: Ola Stu, thank you for your much valued updates. What are the farming opportunities for foreign farmers like in Spain? Much thanks from South Africa. Yeah, Werner, thanks for the comment, but it's a difficult one for me to answer because I don't have experience in that area. But what I normally do in this situation is open it up to the community and see if anybody out there has experience with farming here in Spain. If so, please leave a comment in the comment section below and help Werner out with his question. One here from Peter: my Spanish friend here in Lorca, Murcia, has been told today that everyone must take holiday time off as the factory is full and can't continue until this is over. And when in Lidl today, one customer had more than 10 bags of flour. Alhambra 1925. Oh my God, and it must be very cold. Yeah, Peter, thanks for the comment, and you're right. The beer that you mentioned there, Alhambra 1925, is best enjoyed icy cold. And I think that's the same with the majority of beers here in Spain. They're a lot better when they're very cold. And no surprises to see a person at a supermarket stocking up on products like flour, oil, milk or salt, because as we know, people have gone crazy at the supermarket over the last few weeks. Tell people there's going to be a shortage and the products fly off the shelves. And your friend being told to take some time off from the factory in Lorca because they can't continue with production is also happening at many factories around the country. One here from Mel: the best beer in Spain is anything imported from anywhere else. Yeah, Mel, thanks for the comment, but your words are a little bit harsh in my opinion. Spanish lagers are not that bad, I don't think, and on a nice hot day, they do go down well. But of course, some are better than others, and you just have to keep on trying beer here in Spain until you find one that you like. And finally, one here from Pete: the best beers are craft beers. La Sagra is a larger craft brewer that is widely available. Domus from Toledo is another good brewer. Lauga, La Quince are other good ones. Madrid has a few good beer shops. Yeah, Pete, thanks for the comment, and the craft beer scene here in Spain has definitely improved over the last decade or so. The 2008 financial crisis here in Spain caused many people to lose their jobs, and a lot of people went into craft brewing. And the one that you mentioned in your comment, La Sagra, has established itself as one of the top craft breweries in this country. So the beer scene here in Spain has definitely improved over the last 10 years or so, with all of these craft breweries or microbreweries popping up. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.